I mean, that's the challenge for us as coaches. You always want to put them in position, the best position possible, and I think just the reality is the way in which we've come up short as a team in some of these games thus far has has probably affected us too much. So I think that's been a message for me with Cade and certainly with our side of the football is like we've got to learn to have more of a short-term memory. You know what I mean? And that's easier said than done. I mean, this has been an emotional, few weeks with just the style of games that we've had, and coming up a bit short. So, you got young people and you're having to battle through all that together. And that's what I told our guys yesterday. Is like we're going to have y'all's back no matter what, and we just got to find ways to keep swinging and learn from this and really apply the short-term memory mindset of just moving on quicker, And I think just if we do that collectively and don't let one bad play or one negative play kind of compound as the game goes on, then I think we'll be in a much better spot.
All right, welcome to Believe in Clemson Football. I am Will Vandervort. That's Alex Dodd. The guy you just saw talking was Clemson offensive coordinator Garrett Riley, probably the most I don't know how do I word this, Alex. He's the most, I won't say hated because I think that's just too strong of a word. But it's somewhere in that realm.
Somewhere in that,
most disliked guy at Clemson at the moment.
Or we can say the guy with the most uncomfortable seat at Clemson right
there we
now.
go.
Is probably
Even
the
better.
best way to say it. Because there's a warm seat, there's a hot seat, and then there's the seat that he's sitting on right now. I don't envy him for being in that position.
I don't either. So welcome to Believe in Clemson, presented by FanDuel. We appreciate you guys being with us tonight. Got a pretty good show lined up. Obviously, we're going to, as you just heard from Garrett Riley, we're going to talk a little bit about those comments here in just a second. We're going to talk about his press conference today that he had. We're going to review the loss to Syracuse. Yes, let me say that again in case you somehow are under a rock and you misheard what I just said. Yes, Clemson lost to Syracuse in Clemson. I refuse to call Clemson Death Valley anymore for a long time because they aren't owning that moniker anymore. 4 consecutive losses, Alex, for Clemson against Power 4 opponents. The first time since 1994 and 1995 that has happened. So
maybe now they can call maybe Penn State should be Death Valley and Clemson should be Happy Valley, because if you're a visiting team that comes into Clemson to play a football game, you're probably going to be happy when you leave now.
Well, if you're visiting Power 4 team, because you lost 4 straight Power 4 teams in Death Valley. So, so we got that to go along. And we got our pick 6. I'm on a roll. I'm rolling along.
I'm on a roll too, but you're on like a heater, so you can't even tell that I'm on a roll.
Right now, I have won, let me see, going at Avon, I won 5 out of 6 last week. The week before, I won 4 out of 6. So if my math is right, that's 9 out of the last 12 games I've picked correctly against the spread. So I'm on a heater. I think FanDuel should hire me. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I think the guys.
Well, you know what changed? You know what changed is we started hammering the other team with the points against Clemson, and that's what really turned around our pick 6.
Yeah, Clemson helped us turn around our pick 6.
Yeah, they did.
We stopped going against the spread against Clemson. We said it, easy money, take Syracuse. It was like, oh my gosh, easy money.
So I hope we made you some money this week. I mean, I know it was like minus 150, so you wouldn't really won much, but I guess you could have if you put a lot in, you can get a lot out of it.
You do. So by the way, my record's 13-11 on the season. Alex's record is now 11-13, 2 games behind. It's still young in the season though. Alex, we're just in the second quarter, as Dabo Swinney likes to say. We just started the second quarter. We got off to a slow start. Sound familiar? Now we're kind of maybe getting rolling here as we get toward halftime.
I was 11-5 in my NFL spread picks last week, so that's where I'm really on a roll right now. On that one.
But I don't go against.
But I'll turn around this pick 6 eventually.
All right. Well, we appreciate all you guys joining us tonight as we get you set for the open date. Clemson has an open date, which means
they can't lose. It means they can't lose.
Well, they can't. Well, they could, but sarcasm. We hope they don't lose because that means something else happened that we don't want to happen in a practice or whatever. I know it's a very interesting week at Clemson. I can tell you things are not easy over there at that facility. I can tell you there's been a lot of angst moments, if you will. Dabo Swinney talked about that yesterday. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. So, yeah, things aren't all happy and sunshiny over at the Clemson practice facility, otherwise known as the Allen Reese Football Complex. So, but before we get any further down the road, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors because that's the whole reason why we're here. Without them, we would be nowhere. And want to start it off with, obviously, our sponsors at the Clemson Insider, the most complete coverage of Clemson athletics and recruiting. Go on over to the ClemsonInsider.com. Check it out. We got all kinds of stuff on Garrett Riley's press conference today. We did talk to some select players as well. Got some recruiting news. Recruiting is really interesting right now, Alex, as a lot of people know.
Yeah, talk about angst and tense moments.
Yes, because that is your future.
On that recruiting trail.
That is your future.
Sit in Jordan Sorrell's office right now and look at next year, and that's what'll make you really anxious. Absolutely.
So go on over to the Clemson Insider and check it out and check out all the stuff there. You can go on Twitter at Clemson Insider, or X. I'm never going to get that right. You can go to Facebook, which you are on Facebook right now. Check out the articles there on Clemson Insider on Facebook. You can also go over to my X account as well at Steeler Will, or you go over to at Alex Dodd Show and check that out as well. We appreciate all the guys getting in. If you could, we got a couple comments. Please fill up my comment box like you did last week. Love to just whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to ask me, whatever you want to complain about. It is free. As I said in my column on Sunday, Clemson has got to – Dabo Swinney's way didn't work. Clemson's got to figure out something else. I told you guys last week that you had every right in another column I wrote to be complaining as Clemson fans. You even got more now with this 1-3 start. So go check all that out over at the Clemson Insider. You can find it, the most complete coverage of Clemson athletics and recruiting. Also want to give a shout out to our sponsors over at the all-new Smoke on the Water, which will be opening at 64 Beacon Drive on Restaurant Row off of Pelham Road in Greenville, South Carolina here in just a few more weeks, Alex. Got like maybe 5 weeks or so. So early November, they're expecting to open. So
just in time for basketball season?
Just in time for basketball season, just in time for me to fill up my belly some more. All the good things that we want. The all-new Smoke on the Water will feature the same famous smoked meats it had before, pulled pork, brisket, the famous beer butt chicken, and prime rib, plus a few new things that will appear on the menu as well. Also, its signature 5 barbecue sauces will be there to complement, not smother, but complement any of the smoked meats you get. So, like before, the all-new Smoke on the Water will have Greenville's best happy hour, and it will feature live acoustic acts as well. I know a couple weeks ago they were getting that stage installed, Alex, and everything, and so it sounds like they're getting through all the codes and all the stuff you got to go through before you can open up. So all that headache, if you will, right? But they're getting it all taken care of. So Smoke on the Water is owned by Mike Schuler. As you know, he was a staple in downtown Greenville for 18 years before being forced out of the previous location by its new landlords. Right now, the all-new Smoke on the Water is available for catering, and it has its food truck. So for more information, call 864-232-9091. Again, that's the all-new Smoke on the Water at 64 Beacon Drive on Restaurant Row off of Pelham. Again, that's 864-232-9091 for more information. All right, Alex, here we go. So
let's get into it.
Let's get into it, man. Let's just get started. Let's start off with Garrett Riley first. Okay, what Garrett Riley had to say. You heard his comments coming into the show. If you guys missed that, you could go back on the podcast later after we're done and watch what he said. We got a minute clip there. I found it interesting, Alex. He talks about how his team, and more specifically his quarterback, has to have a short-term memory. That's interesting to note. And I say that because I wouldn't say that Cade Klubnik is not winning games for Clemson. He is. He isn't winning games for Clemson. That's obvious.
Right.
But he's not the one losing games either. I mean, he's part of the problem.
He didn't lose this game.
Right. Well, he didn't lose the last game. Yeah. He didn't lose the Georgia Tech game. I mean,
he may have lost the LSU game.
May have, may not. I mean, I don't. There was no like one defining moment that in Cade Klubnik was the reason they lost. That's my point. Now he didn't help matters because he hasn't been playing well. Which that's what I'm saying. It's like it's not like he's going out there when Deshaun Watson. Remember Deshaun Watson's junior year?
Right.
Remember Deshaun Watson threw 16 interceptions. Remember the Pitt game when Deshaun Watson threw for 584 yards, but also threw 3 interceptions, all in the end zone.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, every single one was in the end zone.
Right.
But Deshaun Watson kept slinging it.
Right.
He never got lost his confidence, whatever. When you hear the offensive coordinator say, we got to have a short-term memory, he's talking to his quarterback.
Right.
Okay, but his quarterback isn't throwing 5 interceptions in a game. And that's what concerns me. Because if he was throwing 5 interceptions in a game and doing what Deshaun Watson was doing, I get this, that comment. But Deshaun had a short memory, and we come back out there. So where is what does it have to be the short-term memory? What is he doing that is causing the short-term memory problems where they got to say, hey, forget about it. Don't worry about it. Is it because he doesn't trust his offensive line? Check. Yep. Is it because he doesn't trust his wide receivers? Check. Is it because they only got 1 running back? Check. I think it's all the above. And so if I'm like saying, okay, you got to have a short-term memory, okay, well, Cade's like, you got to have a short-term memory. It's all around me. Nothing but reminders are constantly around me. How do I get past this? Alex, how does the young man get past this? Because these are the problems. It's not just him. It's the entire team.
Right. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's 2025. We all know what the most important position on the football field is. Offense or defense, it's the quarterback. He's sitting 91st in QBR. You had a Heisman hopeful quarterback coming into the year, and he's the 91st best quarterback in the country.
By the way, I think last year you finished top 10 in QBR?
Yep. So you got the 91st best quarterback in the country. Now, I think part of the short-term memory, now it's not catastrophic turnovers like it was last year, is what you're mentioning. It's not like he threw 2 pick sixes against Syracuse and fumbled at the 1-yard line, and it's not
DJ Uyunglele.
Yeah, it's not that. But I think the lack of trust and the lack of confidence in the guys around him could be part of that short-term memory problem as well. I mean, if you keep holding on to the fact that you got sacked against LSU and that's why you're running from the pocket against Syracuse, then that's a short-term memory problem.
Yeah.
If you're letting a missed read on a play in the second series of the game force you to press on the third series of the game, then that's a short-term memory problem. So I think a lot of it too is, this is a veteran quarterback who's supposed to be the field marshal. He's supposed to be leading this offense on the field.
That I agree with.
And he's not doing it right now. He's not making checks and putting Clemson in better situations. He's not hitting the open guy on the crosser ever. So I think that's part of the short-term memory problem too is, at a certain point, you got to play the next play and hit the next open guy and stop beating yourself up for stuff maybe that you did 2 series ago. So I think that might be what Garrett Riley's talking about in terms of short-term memory problems with Cade.
Yeah, and listen, I get all that. I do. I get everything you just said. But I wonder because, see, last year he didn't do this. He wasn't having the problems where he sees a guy open and he just totally doesn't throw him the ball. He throws it the other way. We've seen that a couple times now, not just once, and oh my goodness. No, we've seen it like a lot. Like it's happening more often than not. And so I'm like, okay, why is that? And I know the coaches tell us everything in practice seems good. I don't know why it's not translating to the field. I'm calling BS on that because I think it is happening in practice, and I think that's why your quarterback's gun shy.
Yep.
I think crap is happening in practice.
Well, I mean,
he's gun shy about it.
Well,
and he's
let's
not trusting things.
Let's look back to fall camp and what we were hearing from fall camp. What did we hear from those scrimmages? We heard that the defense had pick sixes. We heard that the defense had interceptions. We heard that the defense was holding serve against the offense, which is not what we expected to hear, given how much Clemson had return on offense. So maybe, in hindsight, the way we all took that was, man, this defense must be a lot better.
Right.
Well, it turns out the defense is about the same, maybe a little bit play to play. Maybe they're better than they were last year. Maybe play to play. Overall, not much better.
We'll get into the defense here in a second.
Yeah, we'll get into the defense. But anyway, we know what the defense is, But what we're seeing is in the fall in camp, what you really saw was the offense sucked. And that's what we're seeing on the field. We're seeing the same offense that was throwing interceptions in scrimmages against this defense.
Yeah, we are. But again, we heard practices were great. We heard it again today. Garrett Riley said the same thing. Yeah, I don't know why it's not translating to the field. I just call bullcrap on that because anybody that's played sports, you know how you practice is how you play.
Right.
And then you look at your quarterback and you can see he's got a guy wide open. He's staring at him and he doesn't throw it. Why?
Or he throws it to him when he runs into the corner on the other side of the field.
But why?
And I don't know. I don't know the answer to the question. I'm not in those practices. I only know what I see watching the games back and breaking down Cade's performances. And I know he's not hitting them. There's no energy. There's no leadership. There's no intensity. There's no attention to detail. There's been like 20 people get in here and talk about attention to detail or the lack thereof. And we're going to get to some of your comments. But that's the biggest thing for me. No energy, minimal effort, lack of enthusiasm, no attention to detail. That's what I see for the whole football team. There's like three players that I could count on to bring energy to the field. It's Will Helt. It's Adam Randall. Yeah, I know he's fumbled twice, but he works his ass off on every
one
play.
time wasn't his fault.
Yeah,
one time wasn't his fumble.
It's Will Helt. It's Adam Randall, and it's Tristan Smith.
Yeah.
And other than that, I don't see it. I don't see the effort. I don't see the intensity. I don't see the will to win. I don't see any of it. I see apathy. I see rolling your helmet out on the field. I see waiting for January so that you can go to the NFL. That's what I see for this team. And honestly, these guys that might be cashing in for the NFL, they should look at their draft stock because
they need to start playing better if they want to get in the NFL. Because I tell you what, TJ Parker, you ain't gonna be a first-round draft pick right now, buddy. I'm gonna go on ahead and tell you that. Peter Woods, you ain't a first-round draft pick right now. I can tell you that. Cade Klubnik, you definitely ain't a first-round draft pick. Maybe he won't be drafted. And then, and Adam Randall, I think, has earned himself possibly as a draft pick. I think so too. Avion Terrell, I don't see any way where you're a first-round draft pick. Antonio Williams, don't see anything where you're a first-round draft pick. All you guys that think you're going to be first-round draft picks, I just don't see that right at the moment. Now, you could turn that all around by winning your last 8 games of the season and beating the crap out of everybody like you should have done to begin with.
Right.
Then maybe we could start talking about that draft pet stock going up, right, at that point. Yeah. But I don't understand this laziness, where guys are like wanting to get into the NFL and they're like, I kind of got my money. I'm saving myself so I don't get hurt. Whoever told you that nonsense, whoever told you not to go hard, whoever told you to don't get worried about getting injured, stop listening to them because all you're doing is hurting your draft stock. Yeah. You're not helping it. You're hurting it. You're killing it. And I mean, and I can't believe Clemson, of all teams, has allowed this to happen. And that's the thing I think that's the most aggravating about this because this is a team that won 10 games last year that had pretty much the nucleus of the team coming back. I don't ever think I've seen a team who had the nucleus of the team coming back suck as bad the next year. That was a 10-win team.
Yep.
I mean, that is just, it boggles my mind. I know it does. We got a lot of comments, and we're going to start getting to them here because, Alex, I love it. Guys, keep filling up our box here, and we'll get to them here. Let's just start rolling some out.
We'll start with Justin. He said it worked at TCU. Why not here?
Well, I think part of that is we're seeing with TCU right now. I think it's TCU's head coach it's Sonny Dykes' scheme, and what he does is a big part of it. I think Sonny Dykes was still dialing up some old ball plays, if you will, while Garrett Riley was there. And also, I think, they were hungry. They were hungry. When you look at that TCU team, they had no business going to the national championship game. Look how many of those players weren't drafted into the NFL on that team. They had offensive linemen that were 450 pounds, but they were going hard. They were trying. They were doing everything they could to win. So that's why it worked at TCU, and that's why it's not working here. Combination of a lot of things. Some of it coaching, some of it players. I think you throw blame on both.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I think blame can go all the way around. But there's got to be accountability at some point. Scott Millsap gets in, talking about the meeting yesterday with the players and Dabo, and he said that he understands that didn't include any assistants. Did you hear anything of that nature?
That the meeting did not include any assistants? Yeah. So Dabo met with this team, and Garrett Riley says they had their back. So that implied to me Garrett Riley was in the room, because he said we as coaches have our players' backs. We have their backs. And he was asked a little bit about that and stuff. So, semantics, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you who was there, who wasn't. But I do know this. Dabo came out of it pretty emotional. Said a lot of heated things were there. Peter Woods today kind of got into it a little bit. So did Colin Sadler today. That it was a pretty intense meeting room. And this is a regular team meeting. This isn't like
a special meeting.
Special meeting. This is the typical Monday practice team meeting. They do their meetings at before they go to practice. So Dabo had this meeting before he came and talked to us in the media. So he was just getting out of this meeting when he came and talked to us. So it was fresh on Dabo's mind. So with that said, I would imagine that the assistants were there, because unless Dabo told them not to be. But again, I wasn't there, so I can't say. But I would say that, it sounded like it was a pretty emotional meeting. It sounded like, from what Dabo said and the players said, that a lot of things came out into the open. They cleaned the air, it sounded like. And then it sounds like when they left, everybody was all in, if you will, and was ready to go back to work and get things done. So we'll see what happens on that, But yeah, it was a definitely, I think, something that, even though it was a scheduled meeting, it was just a regular team meeting, it still was something that probably needed to be done. And I think Dabo led the charge and wanted to address it, because he's shaking his head too. You saw his emotions. We saw it after the game. I mean, Dabo, he's frustrated. Bart Boatwright's got a great picture there in the fourth quarter where Dabo's just got his hands on his head and he's looking up like, what's going on here? He's frustrated. He doesn't understand. And so, it's interesting. I've never seen Dabo this not in touch with his team.
Yep.
This is a first for me. And I think it's a first for Dabo, because I've just never seen it where he kind of knows what his team is and who they are, and they're not anything like he thought they were.
Right.
And I think he's as confused as anybody else about what's going on. So what do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly what it seemed like since, the fourth quarter Saturday is when I'll say that became apparent. Like you said, seeing Dabo on the sideline, kind of his reaction and things, and then seeing, when they're singing the alma mater and, Terrell's got his arm around him, kind of keeping Dabo's head up. Those are sights we're not used to seeing. Usually it's the other way around. And it just seems like he's perplexed as to what's happening and what the issues with this team are, just like all the rest of us are. I know Luke LeBourgeois gets in and says he doesn't believe anymore. Thought that was a pretty good play on words. Thanks for sticking with us for the whole year, Luke.
Absolutely.
Michael Martin gets in and says he still believes in Dabo.
Yeah, I do too. And I got a column I'm writing that's going to come out this week on the Clemson Insider. Like, I heard one fan today on CCP, the radio station here in the upstate, say that the Clemson needs to go away from Dabo now. Dabo doesn't have it anymore. And I'm like, dude, first of all, that's just ludicrous to say that. That Dabo Swinney is not going anywhere unless he wants to go somewhere on his own. Dabo Swinney is not going to be fired by Clemson. Clemson's not going to run Dabo Swinney off. The guy has won 2 national championships. He's won 9 conference championships. He's done more for this university than any coach ever has before him or probably after him. So Dabo Swinney isn't going anywhere, and he doesn't need to go anywhere. He deserves the right to go on his own terms what he wants to do. He's earned that right. And I am like them. I believe in Dabo too. I don't think Dabo's done. I think Dabo's going to try to figure things out. That's the one thing I know about Dabo. And that's why he had the meeting like he had yesterday, because Dabo is a fighter. He doesn't quit. And Dabo isn't going to quit. He's going to quit on this team. He's going to try to figure out how he missed things. He's going to try to figure out how his coaches miss things. And he's going to try to figure out what his players are thinking and how they can fix everything. So there's no doubt in my mind, Alex, Dabo is not going anywhere. And I think the majority of the fan base, I still think, believes in Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you also get to a point, and we've seen this the last, 5 years when Clemson football hasn't been, playing for national championships, that there are people that come out after every loss and say they should fire Dabo and move on from Dabo. And it's the same people are saying it now that were saying it then. So it's not like it's, a new crop of
are these
detractors.
The same people that say fire Brad Brownell too?
Yeah, it's the fire Brad Brownell crowd.
Yeah.
But this is a little bit different than that. If Brad Brownell won 2 national championships, I think people would still be out there saying they need to fire him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They would definitely still say they need to fire him.
Yeah, they'd lose like a 2-point game to Louisville, and everybody'd say they need to fire him.
Exactly.
Robbie Skaggs gets in here. Do you think it's the coach's poor judgment of the players or playing highly paid NIL players? Either way, it's not a great look. I guess this is in reference to some of those other guys we talked about earlier and effort or the lack thereof that we've seen on the field.
Yeah, first of all, I wouldn't have a problem if Dabo Swinney came out next week and you saw Jaheim Lawson starting at defensive end, and you saw maybe Stephylon Green starting at defensive tackle. You saw heck, I don't know who you put out there at corner, to be honest with you. I don't know if they have any options out there. But, I wouldn't be surprised for some of that. Yeah, I mean, because I think you need to send some kind of message. And maybe Dabo did yesterday. Yeah. Maybe he sent that message like, hey, look, if you don't start showing what you're going to do, we're going to put somebody in who does want to play hard. Right. The coaches know it. That's the beautiful thing is when they watch film, they can see who's loafing. And they'll definitely highlight it. If me and you, and I'm talking about the people out there listening right now, watching this podcast, if me and you can tell when somebody's loafing, you darn right the coaches can tell. And so,
they're watching film from every angle, multiple times. They're watching hours of game film too. So you think the loafs that we see, man, they're seeing probably double that. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what the starting lineup looks like or the depth chart looks like for the North Carolina game.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Scott Millsap gets in and says this kind of brings to his mind what Andrew Makuba said after transferring to Texas. He said, seems like Tom Allen's review of practice tape kind of confirmed Makuba's criticism. I guess Andrew kind of warned us about something that's become an issue under development, soft practices.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's you can arguably say Clemson's a very soft football team right now.
Oh, they're definitely a soft football team.
Because Syracuse came in and just smacked the crap out of them. I mean, when you get smacked physically by Syracuse, you need to check your manhood at the card as a football player. Because you just got to hand it to you. Same Syracuse team, by the way, who got their manhood checked on them against UConn a couple of weeks before. So, basically, if you're going to go ahead and transfer a game, which you're not supposed to do, but in the rules of fandom, we can do it. You would think UConn would come into Death Valley and beat Clemson as well. Yeah. Or Memorial Stadium, excuse me. Didn't mean to say Death Valley. I'm not supposed to say that anymore.
Are they going to stop rubbing the rock when they run down the hill?
Well, that's their thing. I'm just saying what I'm doing.
I'm just saying it's another question. If you're not
that's another question.
Frank Howard, if you're not going to give 110%, I don't think there were like half the people giving 80%.
Maybe Alex just maybe got a new column for me. If you're not going to give 110%, keep your filthy hands off my rock.
Yeah, 75% is about what it looked like on the field half the time Saturday. Let's call it what it is. What else we got, Alex? Who else we got? So Brad Woods gets in here and says we need to see Steve E, Christopher Vizina in a few series. Why not sit Cade a few and give him a different perspective?
Yeah, Brad, that's a very good point. I've said the same thing and we've asked it in the press conferences, and we've been told again today. Garrett Riley said today, not gonna sit Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik's our quarterback. We're not gonna sit. So I don't know. You take that for what it's worth. I'm just going to kind of leave it there. But you've had both the head coach now and the offensive coordinator both say they're not taking Cade Klubnik out of the game. So you take that for what it's worth. I know how I take it. I know how Alex is taking it. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the way I take it is, if that's the case, then your backup really isn't ready, is what it tells me. That, there, and it reminds me a lot of, DJ. The last year at DJ Uiagalelei, everybody was play Cade. And then, finally they kind of played Cade when they had to in the ACC championship game. And then you saw, what happened for the next calendar year after that. And arguably 2 out of the last 3 years, with the exception of a few halves of good football. That might be part of the problem too, Will. I wonder if we, as speaking just generally as media people, if we overvalued a few good halves of football by Cade Klubnik. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Last year, I thought he played well. You look at his numbers. You can't say he didn't.
I know, but I just think we put...
You don't make numbers like that and you played bad. That doesn't happen.
I just think we maybe put a little bit too much stock in a second half at Texas, or but it wasn't fourth quarter against Pittsburgh, but
it wasn't. He played well against South Carolina.
Second half against Virginia Tech.
He played well he played the whole game against South Carolina. If you tell me who was the better quarterback in that game against South Carolina, Clemson last year, Cade Klubnik was the better quarterback in that game. Now, he missed one throw that would have went for a touchdown, but hey, nobody's perfect. You can't hit every single pass. And then the other one was just a bad decision when he's trying to get his team to win the game at the end. And you can't really fault him for that bad decision nonetheless, but he was decisive on that decision. So that wasn't like he was indecisive there. He was very decisive on it. It was just a bad decision.
This is a good point here too, Will, though, towards this from Desperate Man. And I don't know that I agree with him wholeheartedly, but he does raise an interesting point. You can say that because we haven't beaten a good team since he was a starting quarterback. We lost 4 games last year to the only good teams we played. And I think that's a fair criticism.
I disagree because you beat SMU in the championship game.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you beat one good team.
Well, you still beat one. He said none. So that's one more than none. Right. I get the point.
But I feel like it is a fair criticism. But that in the biggest games against the best teams on the schedule, Cade Klubnik has looked his worst.
But he didn't have, like, first of all, Georgia, yes. But I didn't think he looked bad against Texas.
He did. For a half, they didn't move the ball.
He didn't look bad. He started off the game going bang, bang, bang down the field, scored a touchdown. How's that bad?
Right.
And then if I remember correctly, he got sacked 4 times in that half. So is that on him? No, because they were Texas sacking him. It wasn't like he was holding on to the ball for 20 seconds and getting sacked. It was like, bam. He's like, hike, bam. He's on the ground. That's not on him. That was on the offensive line. They made adjustments. Second half, what did he do? He tore him apart.
Right.
So, okay, not going to blame that on him. Louisville, yeah, I blame that on him. I think he blamed that on the entire team. I don't think it was just on him, but yeah, he did.
Well, how often is a game lost by one single player? I guess you could point
also
to that.
Didn't know
his first year as a starter, that was the case. But
we also didn't know how good that Louisville team was at that time.
Right.
So everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, they lost to a horrible Louisville team." Turned out to be a pretty damn good Louisville team.
Right.
So, at the time, everybody's like, they lost to a horrible team. Actually, it was a good team. And then the Pittsburgh game, people talk about that in the Virginia Tech game. Dude, they had nobody in the offensive line. And Phil Maffa was done for the season at running back. They had nothing. And we see the running back problem is still a problem, where it doesn't seem like they're getting enough guys in there. But anyway, I'm just saying, I'm not going to say Cade had a bad year last year when the guy threw.
Well, no. I don't think anybody's saying. I don't think anybody's saying he had a bad year last year.
He's playing right now. The last 2 weeks, he played the same level of competition he played during that 6-game win streak.
Right.
The difference is he executed, the team executed, and they kicked everybody's butt. Clemson should have beat Georgia Tech. Clemson is better than Georgia Tech. They got better players. They should have better coaching. They didn't. Okay, that's the problem. Clemson is better than Syracuse. They have better coaching. They have better players. They should have won the game. That's the problem. That's what's going on here. That's the problem. These are games.
I'd also say in those 2 games as well, what's the age-old saying, Will, when it comes to sports? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And Clemson's getting outworked in every game.
What did I say?
They're getting outworked in every game.
This is the first time I've seen a team that had most of its production coming back from a 10-win season. And they're basically playing the same teams they did last year. And right now, they're 1-3 with all that production coming back. And Alex, you just hit the head on what the real problem is. They're just not giving full effort. They're getting their butts raked over by Cole. They're getting run over by Syracuse. Remember how embarrassing it was to lose to Duke? You just got even more embarrassing losing to Syracuse. This team plays in a basketball stadium. That's who just beat you. A team that plays in a basketball stadium. That's who just beat you. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. And you lost to them in your house.
In your house.
Yeah. A place that you didn't used to lose, like hardly ever at all.
A place that you won 63 out of 64 games from 2015 to 2022.
Yep.
You won 63 out of 64 games. Okay. And now you've lost 4 straight to Power 4 opponents at home.
Yep.
What's the problem? What's wrong with Clemson? That's the name of this headline today on this podcast. What's wrong with Clemson?
I think it's a lot of things. So I know that this season, the games that Clemson has lost, it's not a transfer portal issue. It's not that these teams have better players that they got out of the portal than Clemson. I'll say it that way. What I think could be part of the problem is there seems to be a level of complacency at Clemson that maybe you don't have at some other places that are in similar situations. Cade Klubnik knew that nobody was going to get anybody to challenge him for his job. The wide receivers knew nobody was going to get anybody to challenge him for their job. The defensive line knew nobody was going to get anybody to challenge them for their job. Linebackers knew there was nobody going to challenge them for their job. And what makes what makes a football team great is competition. And when you can go into an offseason knowing that you're not going to have any competition, because if your backup quarterback's not ready to take a series, then you didn't have any competition in the fall. Let's call it what it is. Then you're not going to get any better.
Can I say something real fast?
Yeah.
Peter Woods, when I believe it's Sammy Brown. When Sammy Brown taps you on the ass and tells you to move over and hit the A-gap and fill in the A-gap, move your ass over, because guess what happened? The play ran right to it, and you didn't listen to your linebacker. That's the crap that's going on right there. That's the crap that's going on.
Yeah.
They're not listening to each other. They're not communicating. They're not trusting each other. Look, pay attention to the kid. The kid knows football. He knows what he's doing. He's probably studied it way harder than you did. Probably did. I'm just saying. He probably studied it way harder than you did. And you're not trusting him. I'm sorry. And look, I got nothing against Peter Woods. He's a good kid. He is. But I saw him not move over. I saw him stay, and Sammy Brown's yelling at him. And they run right to it. They ran right to it.
Yep.
And they got like 6-7 yards.
Yeah, it's things like this that are maddening. And I know, a lot of I have seen a lot of Clemson takes this week from Clemson people that are like, oh, well, it's just this era of college football. It's just the way it is now. Well, it's not that way everywhere. Georgia seems like they're doing all right. LSU seems like they're doing all right. Ole Miss seems like it's doing okay. There's a lot of teams that seem like they're doing fine in this era. Oregon's doing perfectly fine. Penn State's good. Ohio State's good. They're starting a freshman quarterback. They're not having any problems. Mm-hmm. Texas is doing okay, and their quarterback sucks so far.
Yeah,
but they're doing good.
They're beating the Pats on their schedule. They're beating the Pats on their schedule.
They're beating the crap out of bad teams on their schedule. So this isn't a college football problem. This is a Clemson problem.
This is a Clemson problem, and it's like And by the way, I just was giving Peter Wood a hard time. I'm gonna give Sammy Brown a hard time. Okay, I've seen Sammy Brown. How many times you can keep overrunning plays, dude? How many times? You got to stop doing it. And I know a couple weeks ago, Clemson took him off the field so he could watch it on the sideline. He came back in and played better. Well, I think maybe you put Alexander out there to start the game now and let Sammy see it that way. I don't know. Wade Wood has, dude, you keep getting run over. Maybe you're playing hurt out there. Maybe you're giving it your all and you're hurt and you're just trying to help the team out. But you know what? Maybe we need to put Kobe McLeod out there, because with Kobe McLeod out there, I saw him just fill in the hole and make a good tackle. Didn't get run over.
Yeah.
So it's not just one person doing one thing on every play, or you could just say, oh, it's this guy. I saw this guy. It's everybody. It literally is everybody. Again, how soft were the corners on the perimeter? Again, they were. Ashton Hampton and Avion Terrell, you're getting beat, dude.
Yeah, and Ashton Hampton does have another problem that I don't know if there's any solution for. Dude's just not tall enough to match up against these receivers that are lining up against him. There have been several times this year where he's been in phase and just got mossed just by dudes that are bigger than him. So, at a certain point, it's like, can you put somebody in there who maybe can match up?
What do you do? You got to be more physical.
And put somebody in there who can match up.
Do they have match up?
Put somebody in there.
That's part of the problem. Do they have somebody? I don't know if they do. And that's part of the problem too. Let's go to some more questions here. I know we got some more comments.
Yeah, Jeff Ruffner gets in here and says Tristan Smith showed more than any other wideout on Saturday.
He did.
2 catches.
And I tell you what, Garrett Riley said today that he's been doing more in practice to where they can trust him. So obviously tells me in practice he hasn't done things that they trust him, but he's done more things to get in, they said. So now he did say you can guarantee that, or he didn't say guarantee as much. He said you can bet that, yeah, you're going to see more of Tristan Smith going forward.
Right.
So you're going to see more of Tristan Smith. He says he's earned that right in practice. That, he's had to learn the offense. He had to learn how to do things the right way. I don't know what all was going on in practice, obviously, because we don't get privy to watch those practices. But hearing Garrett Riley today, it sounded like he was making some mistakes in practice and all, and they didn't really trust him out there. And now he's kind of earning that right. He's showing it in practice, which means he's getting chances in games. And, of course, that play he made the other day was outstanding. He showed a lot of energy and fire. That's what you need on the field, is somebody with that
just
kind of
effort.
Just will.
He showed will to win.
Exactly.
He was going to do what they'd have 6 guys over there to stop him, or he was getting in the end zone. That was his attitude. Is you better send everybody on your team over here to tackle me, or I'm going to score.
Or I'm going to score. Yeah, and that's what you need. You need more of that.
Yeah.
You need more of that. Please give me more.
And that goes to Peter Mayo's point. He gets in and says, "Looks like our portal guys have more effort or more heart than our recruits."
I like that. Let's take a look at that. Okay, first of all, we heard in fall camp, Jermaine Alexander was leading the way in everybody working out. Wade Wood has even said, well, man, I need to go over there and work out too if he's going to work extra, because it makes me look bad. And then everybody else started following suit, right? So you got Jermaine Alexander right there showing his leadership already and what kind of an impact he's making on the team, right? All right, then let's look at Tristan Smith. We just mentioned, right? We just mentioned what he did and his energy is showing. And then Will Helt.
Look at Will Helt's best player on your defense right now.
No, Will Helt's the best player on the team.
Yeah.
Will Helt is the MVP of the team right now. And you can't tell me anybody else is. He looks like, what did I tell you on the phone the other day? He looks like a little TJ Watt.
Yeah.
The way he gets out there and he's got a ton of energy. He's making plays. Nobody wants to run the football to his side. They're like, no, we're going to run toward number 3 side. I know he's the preseason All-American and everything, the Hendricks Award watch and all this, but we're going to run to his side because 13's killing us over here, And so, so yeah. You know who they don't run to as much, though, when he's in the game? Jaheim Lawson.
Yep.
Starting to play like his brother more and more and more. TJ Parker, you better get your act together. You're going to lose your job, dude. I'm telling you. You're going to lose your job. You better start paying attention to what's going on. Because Jaheim Lawson.
And here's the other thing, too. You want to talk about TJ Parker and this football game on Saturday. Single-handedly gave up 2 rushing touchdowns because he can't run fit. Yeah, over pursues every run. It's gotten to the point now. We were all joking when that goofy LSU podcast guy was like, Garrett Nussmeier needs to run it right at TJ Parker's teeth. Mm-hmm. You remember when we were all joking about that? Yep. Well, now you know what teams are doing?
They're running right.
They're isolating TJ Parker and not blocking him because he can't break down and make a tackle on a run fit. Yep. He can't do it. so teams are running ISO against him. They're leaving him unblocked on run plays to his side.
Yep.
That's supposed to be an All-American. That's supposed to be a first-round draft pick. They're isolating you. They're putting you on skates. That Syracuse running back made you look like a fool.
By the way, this is a Syracuse team who was like one of the worst in the ACC in running the football.
Yeah. I didn't have any problem Saturday.
No, they look like they were the Oklahoma Sooners from the 1980s. That's what they look like. That's what they look. I mean, they just run it right down Clemson's throat, So Clemson did a good job the week before holding Georgia Tech from running the balls because Georgia Tech runs the ball well. I thought a pretty good job against the run against Georgia Tech for the most part till late in the game when they couldn't get off the field. But we'll get more on that in a second. Go ahead, Alex. What we got? Who else we got?
Adrian Lewis gets in here with a great point. South Carolina's record is ugly, but watch those guys play. It's not from lack of effort. I agree.
I totally agree. I watched the whole game the other night. They were going hard.
Yep.
They were going hard. Everybody on that team was going hard. They were doing everything they could not to go 0-2 in SEC play. Can't say that for the guys in the upstate that were wearing orange.
Yep.
They were not going hard on every play. Some were putting effort in and were trying to do the things, but then there were others, they're just kind of, going through the motions, if you will. So, anyway, what else we got?
Ben Abercrombie raises a point that I've seen a lot on social media this week. This year's Clemson is last year's FSU. Needs some good old Pinewood motivation. Play bad, ride the bench, next man up. Play Ben, more players across the board. Trust the backups.
Ben, you're not going to like my answer. They're worse than Florida State last year. And here's why. Because it's the same players that you had last year.
Yep.
Florida State didn't have the same players that they had the year before. They went and got a whole brand new class out of the transfer portal, and they sucked together. They were horrible. They had no chemistry, nothing. So that's why they were bad. This one, I don't know what to do. This is the same, as I said earlier, it's the same guys. It's the same guys. That's why you're pulling your hair. That's why Dabo's hair has turned gray in 1 year. In 4 weeks, in 1 month, I should say, Dabo Swinney's hair has turned gray because he's like, who the hell are you? This is not the guys I thought were coming back. This is not the team that went 10-4 and went to the college football playoff last year and gave Texas everything they had. This is not them. This is not the same team. So, no, this is worse than Florida State last year, in my opinion. Right now, it's worse than Florida State.
Yeah, fair enough. And I was going to say the same thing is, Florida State's issue was they had no continuity. You have all the continuity in the world. You just don't have any of the – I mean, for whatever reason, the results don't match.
We don't know. I
kind of stumbling through this. It's just because it's hard to find the words to describe, what's happened to this team from 1 year to the next, bringing back everybody, adding pieces that you felt like made the team better, and you're significantly worse.
Look, I'm just gonna kind of let me go down a little road here, okay? Let me go down a little road. Tell people how football usually works, okay? And I know people are going to understand this when I start saying this, So let's see. So back in 1976, they had a Clemson team that just came close to beating some guys, and they just couldn't get over the hump. But they knew they were going to be pretty good if they worked hard the next year, and they did. And they came back and they went 8-3-1, had their first winning season since 1968, and went to their first bowl game since 1959. And then the next year, they brought back all those guys, okay? And almost every single one of them came back. And, Alex, what'd they do the next year? They went 11-1 and won the ACC.
They were terrible.
Finished number 6 in the country, okay? And, all right, so that's that. Then in 1980, they had this team again, real close, getting close. Just couldn't get over the hump, though. Just couldn't get over the hump, So, the next year, all those guys come back. They think they're going to have a better team. No, not only did they have a better team, they went undefeated and won a national championship. You know why? Because they had everybody back and they got better, okay? You can go 1985, again, had an average football team. But they were so young. They played a ton of freshmen. They came back that next year. I said, guess what they did, Alex? Guess what they did the very next year with all those guys?
That team was pretty good, right? That team was pretty good.
Yeah, 1986 team. Yeah, they won an ACC championship. And then the next year they won an ACC championship. And then the next year after that they won an ACC championship. And then I can get into the Dabo Swinney years if you want me to, and kind of go down those roads where they did the same things. They got better each year, and then they dominated people and became a national championship program. And each year got better and better and better, bringing back the same players each year.
Yeah, this kind of
So what happened this year? I was expected what history has told me since 1977, Alex. That's what I was expecting.
There's 1 year of history where Clemson was, brought back a lot of production to start a season, and you had this big game against this SEC team to start the year, and everybody's really excited. You got your quarterback back. You got this running back you're excited about.
They didn't bring back a lot of people that year, though. They lost a lot. They lost a lot on defense. They definitely lost a lot on offense. You're talking about 2021 team.
No. I'm not talking about 2021.
What are you talking about? You're talking about this year.
No, I'm talking about when they opened the season in Atlanta against Alabama and got smacked. And halfway through the year, you lost to Wake Forest. Your coach got fired.
What people don't remember about that team, Alex, is that team brought in a brand new offensive line. They had all the skill players, but they had a brand new offensive line. I believe all 5 starters, brand new on that year. Okay, so that's what happened on that team. That's what occurred that year. So, but Alex, guess what? They brought them all back the next year, and guess what happened? They went to the ACC championship game.
Yeah. John Grant is blaming you for mentioning a Tommy West team about a month ago.
I jinxed. Okay, John, you got to remind me. How did I bring up Tommy West in our conversation? That's not something I normally would do. When did I bring up 1998? I'm sorry, John, if I did, but you got to give me a reminder of what I did. I say a lot of things, as you could tell. I go on these rants.
So Outlaw J75 got in here, and I think this needs some clarification. He said, did Dabo say winning was never his goal last night? If so, his players may feel the same. Dabo wasn't talking about football. Dabo was talking about.
I'll let you talk about this because I didn't hear this quick comment, so obviously you're familiar with this, so go ahead.
Yeah, Dabo wasn't talking about football when he was saying that he didn't get into coaching to win. He got into coaching because it's for his faith. This is how he felt like he could serve God best, was to develop young men to be good husbands and fathers and citizens. That's what Dabo was talking about. So don't try to act like Dabo talking about his fate somehow means he doesn't want to win football games. I've seen a bunch of people saying bullcrap like this on Twitter, and I'm sick of it. It's like, if you want to criticize the way he's coaching, if you want to criticize the way players are getting developed, if you want to criticize his stance on the portal and NIL, like there's 100 things you can criticize Dabo on. Don't go after him and say, because he cares more about, serving God than winning football games, that he doesn't care about winning football games. I mean, that's just nonsense. This guy's won 2 national championships as a coach, won 1 as a player. All he's done his whole life is win. So to say this guy doesn't care about winning games, I mean, just look at the guy on Saturday that was standing over there, trying to keep from falling over, singing the alma mater Saturday. That's the guy that cares about winning football games. So get out of here with that nonsense.
Yeah, I'm with you, Alex. I'm not pulling a Dabo to say look at his credentials, but if you don't think he wants to win games, then he wouldn't have won 2 national championships. He wouldn't have taken you to 4 national championship games in 5 years. Now I want to remind you of how rare that is, because not even Nick Saban has that title of going 4 national championships in 5 years. Not even the great Bobby Bowden ever did that. Okay. Yeah. So not even Tom Osborne did that.
And this is again to say that there aren't plenty of things you can criticize Dabo Swinney about with his football team.
With this,
this isn't that kind of show where I'm going to tell you can't criticize Dabo Swinney, but
for this season. But you can't criticize his saying that he doesn't want to win. That's just bullcrap. Yeah, I'm just going to use Dabo's comment. That's bullcrap. Yeah. Because Dabo wants to win as much as more than you want to win. Trust me. Way more than you ever think you want Clemson to win a football game. Dabo Swinney wants it 20 million times more than you. I can guarantee you that. Right now, I can guarantee you that. So anyway, next, what we got?
John Grant remembered. He said that you talked about Clemson getting beat at Missouri in 1996.
I did. I remember right when I read it. That's what 1996 Missouri game. I do remember, because we were talking about season openers. And then so we talk about they got shelled by North Carolina that year, by the way, also to open the season. And then I mentioned how they later on went to Missouri and got shelled, I believe also. And I think that's the crux of that conversation, I guess. I apologize. I'm sorry. I gave the bad juju out there. That's all on me.
Yeah, Brad Woods, I'm putting this up here because I'm hoping it's good juju. You said Alex go Red Sox. Yeah, they got runners in the corners right now with one out. I know none of you guys care about that, but I'm hoping Brad brings some good juju with that comment.
All of a sudden, we just turned into believe in Red Sox. Anyway.
Here's one on Dabo. I hate sacrificing the 98% graduation rate and 100% job placement, but he needs some dogs out there, especially on offense.
Now, I don't disagree that he don't need some dogs out there. Now, I don't know if I want to get a good old dog out there, but I do agree that he needs some new dogs out there, and that's something he's going to have to address in recruiting. I'll never forget. This is my favorite Tommy Bowden quote after they got beat. Oh man, how bad was it? 55-7 or something like that in Tallahassee in 2000. I got it right here. Let me just look at it. I've got the book out. Yeah, 54-7 in 2000 down in Tallahassee. Tommy Bowden was asked, "What did Coach Bowden say to you? What did your dad say to you when you went out to when you went out to midfield?" He said he shook my hand and he says, "Start recruiting." And as simple as that. And I'm like, that's what Dabo needs to start doing. Now, that's what my column was about the other day. I said, Dabo Swinney's way this year has not worked. It hasn't worked, Alex. And I said, Clemson's got to adjust. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I think we know Dabo Swinney can recruit. We know that. Come on, Dabo. It's time to start using the money, man. Find it. Find some money.
It's out there. I mean, here's the other thing.
You tell me if you start paying those, paying those 5-star players.
Yeah,
you can get them come back to Clemson, but you got to start paying them.
Well, here's the thing.
Because everybody else is.
That's what I was going to say. Is it's not that you don't have money invested in this roster. You do. You have a competitive payroll.
They do it in retention.
Yes, they do it in retention, but you need to use your money a little differently.
Need to use your money in the transfer portal.
If you got people who are going to come to you, and I'm not saying this is the case, so don't hear what I'm not saying. If you got people who are going to come to you in the offseason and say, I want this much amount of money to come back this year, or I'm going to go to this other school, maybe you learn a little bit of a lesson this year that maybe some of those guys would be better served to go to another school if they're going to come roll their helmet out all season.
I'm with you 100%. And spend a little money in the transfer portal, but also spend a little money in recruiting. Because if you don't, you're never going to get the 5-star players again at Clemson. Never. Because guess what those other teams do that are recruiting against you, Clemson? They're saying, well, we really want that guy. He's committed to Clemson, but I know how I can get him to turn. I know how I can get him to turn. Clemson has a rule. A freshman can't make more money than a player at that position. It's already on the team. So I'm going to go ahead and ask him for more. I'm going to give him more money. It's exactly what's happening. That's why these teams, these kids, more than ever before, have gone against their commitment to Clemson. Is money, money, money. Yep. Show me the money. That's what they used to say on Jerry Maguire, right? Show me the money. That's what the players are saying these days. Even the 5-star recruits are saying, show me the money. And if you don't play the game, you're not going to get them to come in. The kids in the transfer portal are saying, show me the money. If you don't play the game, you're not going to get them to come in. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, and as we kind of move into, the top of the hour here, Will, who is this team for the rest of the season? And what needs to happen over this bye week to have, some semblance of success the rest of the way?
Man, first of all, it must be hard being a coach for Clemson right now. Whether it's Dabo Swinney, whether it's Garrett Riley, whether it's Tom Allen, whether it's Nick Eason. Because all these guys have had to come out here the last couple of weeks and then try to do everything they can to not put down their players, to be people of good ilk, right? Because you don't want to slam your player, right. In a public eye, in the public forum. You don't want to do that. And so, but they know once they say what they're going to say, they're going to get blasted by the fan base because they know it. They know it as well as we all do. That what's the problem is, and they're trying to fix it, but they're trying to do it in a way where, to be honest with you, I don't know how they're trying to do it, but I think they're trying to do what's best for the player and the team, but I think they're failing at doing it, and I don't know how it can be fixed because I don't know if I could do any better either. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. And I think that's where the head scratch becomes because these are, again, as I said earlier, these are the same guys you won with last year. And you're like, okay, I know they can play. I know Peter Woods is an All-American when Peter Woods plays like it. By the way, Peter Woods got 22 tackles this year in 4 games. He's having a all-ACC type season. He really is. He's just in the big moments not showing up, right?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be a good argument? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like on Saturday, you look at Cade's stat line, and we've talked a lot about Cade today, obviously, but Cade, he was 37 to 60, 363, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. So you look at the numbers, it's like, he probably had his best day of the year so far.
Hands down.
But then you look at the same thing that you're saying here, it's in the big moments when you needed him most.
Didn't happen. Bryant Westco, Georgia Tech last week, 75-yard catch and run, a thing of beauty. Oh, my gosh. That was – I'm going to be honest. We ain't seen that since a guy named Travis Etienne. That kind of has that explosion, right? That could do that. But then in the big moment, what happened? He dropped the pass.
Yep. In
the big moment the other day when they needed to get a field goal just before halftime, great call by Garrett Riley, by the way. First of all, nobody gives Garrett Riley credit for that. It's a good call. We're blasting him for the 4th and 1, and deservedly so, right?
Right.
But nobody's giving him credit for the good call he had before halftime that would have set up a field goal if Bryant Westco would have caught the ball. So what's going on there? Bryant Westco didn't drop anything last year. TJ Moore, dude, I don't know what to say. Sometimes you run good routes, sometimes you don't. But then when you do, you get open. You're like, nobody throws me the damn football, and he's staring right at me. I can understand his frustration. I can understand that. So, again, TJ Parker had 2 sacks last week. Finally showed up a little bit. But his 2 sacks came when the game was kind of already in Syracuse's hand.
Yep.
Like they had control of the game. It wasn't like, there were big turning moments of the game. Again, in the big moment, where was he at when they needed to get that stop on 3rd down? By the way, they couldn't get off the field all day. Defense I get tired of watching it. If it's 3rd and long, we know what's happening. 1st down, opponent. 1st down, whoever that is. So, North Carolina game, get ready for it. It's going to be 3rd and 19. It's going to be a North Carolina 1st down. Go ahead and tell yourself that. By the way, I watch the same thing play out on Sundays with my Steelers. It's like watching deja vu all over again. I'm like, I just saw this. I just saw this movie yesterday, and I'm watching part 2, I guess, on Sundays. But it's like that. It's frustrating. Like they can't get off the field. No matter what they do, they can't get off the field. 3rd long, they get a penalty, keeps the drive going. They got them 3rd and 6, guy picks up a 1st down. They got them 3rd and 15, the guy runs 20 yards for a 1st down. I mean, they just can't get off the field to save their life, And I think it's a mental thing, Alex. I think it's.
At a certain point, all of us have. Well, maybe some of you are lucky. All of us who have played sports have played on bad teams or teams that couldn't seem to catch a break.
Yep.
And when you get in that mode, you get in that mode, I mean, heck, I've been on football teams where it's you got your opponent backed up in 3rd and 25, and you're like, all right, here we go. We got a 3rd and 25, and they get a 35-yard play, or they throw the big touchdown, or whatever. That those back-breaking plays. And I think this goes towards Garrett Riley's point of having a short-term memory for the whole football team. Is when you're start playing against ghosts. When you start playing against the big 3rd and long you gave up last week, or you start playing against the incomplete pass you threw last week. When you start thinking about those things and it becomes part of your psyche where you're in this negative loop and you can't get out of it and nothing seems to go your way, at a certain point, you got to just start fresh and and say that, hey, we gotta wipe the memory, clear the mechanism here, and go out for the next one. And that's honestly,
that's what Garrett Riley's talking about.
And that's the good thing for Clemson.
Gotta have
if there's one silver lining to everything that's happened so far this year, it's that it's bye week. You're 1-3, but it's bye week. You got 2 weeks to figure it out, to figure out how to go out and win a football game. And that's probably the only semblance of hope you have right now, is that you have a bye week and you can always go play North Carolina in 2 weeks and be a different football team.
Yeah. You got an opportunity to get some things fixed and healed over the next 10 days. There's no doubt about that. But do you believe it's going to happen is what we're kind of asking.
Justin asks, do you see it improving? Let it out, guys. Do you see it improving?
Do you see it improving? I don't know. I hate to say that, but it's the same reason last week I took Syracuse to win the game. If anybody listened to Tiger pregame show, or if you saw my article at the Clemson Insider on my preview predictions, I picked Syracuse to win the game because of what you just said. Do I see it improving? I'm sorry. I'm a show me guy.
I'm a show me guy too. I mean, it's great to talk about theoreticals and what you want to do, and they could do this over the bye week and figure it out and blah blah blah. But I'm the same way. You got to show me. At least you play a bad team after the bye week.
Exactly.
You play a horrible football team after the bye week. Let's call it what it is. Now you might lose because it's not like you're playing good football or decent football or salvageable football. But
I need to see, Peter Woods today, he said all the right things. It was a great interview. Really was. He talked about how in high school they were 0-2 his senior year, and they responded and went on to win the national championship. And he said all the right things, and, Garrett Riley got up there and he said all the right things. And Colin Sadler said all the right things, right? Dabo Sweeney in the media with us yesterday in the teleconference, he said all the right things. But I got to see it right now, because what I've seen with my own two eyes for 1 month of the season is I saw all the wrong things.
Yep.
I saw offensive linemen not knowing what they're doing. I saw offensive linemen jumping off sides in key moments, right? I saw defensive linemen not doing their job, right? I've seen linebackers not doing their job. I've seen corners just getting blown up at the point of attack. The only person I've seen do anything consistent, or two people, is Will Helt and Jack Smith, the punter.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, holy crap, had a great game the other day.
Yeah.
Syracuse came after it like 4 times to block it. And with pressure, he was killing it.
Yep.
And so, that's it. I mean, so that's what's wrong with this team. It's just like there's all these things. And so until I see them make that critical third down stop, until I see them get off the field on 3rd and 20, until I see Cade Klubnik hit the open man with consistency, until I see Colin Sadler not just standing there blocking nobody, until I see Sammy Brown not overrunning the play every time and being out of position. Until I see those things, I have no faith. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. And right now, I did a win-loss game. Alex, I know we did that last week. We thought maybe this team was 9-3, possibly. I think now, at best, going into the South Carolina game, at best, is 7-4. That's at best going into the South Carolina game.
Yep.
I could see a scenario where there's 6-5 going into Columbia.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can too. I mean, I don't see you're definitely not running the table with what you've shown and what Florida State's shown.
Nope.
I don't know that you're beating South Carolina because of what we talked about earlier with the effort question.
I don't know if you beat Duke for the same reason.
Yep, I don't know if you beat Duke for the effort question as well.
I don't know if you go to Boston College and win.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You can't look at any game on the schedule, really.
I guarantee you Boston College is going to play their butt off. Boston College is going to play their butt off against Clemson because it's Clemson. And they know they got that long losing streak, and they're like, this is our year. We can end it. We can end that losing. What is it like? Since 2008?
Yeah.
Something like that. Or yeah, it's been like 2010. 2010. They haven't lost Clemson since 2010 at Boston College. Clemson hasn't lost to Boston College since 2010. You don't think the Eagles want to knock that off?
Yeah.
They're ready to end that long losing streak. And they know they could do it this year. This is like, oh, we got Clemson. We can do this.
Yep.
Just like Syracuse did. Syracuse, like, we're going to.
I mean, here's the other thing too that you bring up a good point is everybody smells blood in the water now.
Yes.
So you thought you had a target on your back already, and dadgum, you got a bigger one now.
Now you're wounded.
Blood in the water.
Yeah, you're wounded.
Blood in the water.
And them sharks are circling, and they're wanting that Clemson blood. That tiger, he's swimming, trying to get back to the top. Ain't nothing but sharks swimming around him.
Yep, and Rob Allen comes through with a good point. Watching Clemson this season is the same as watching the Tyson and Buster Douglas fight. I thought talent would triumph, and then Tyson got knocked out.
Yeah. I'm glad he didn't use Holyfield and Tyson.
Yeah, Louisville on a Friday night, too.
Yeah.
You think you're going to win that game?
Yeah. Right now? No, you're not going to.
No.
All right, Alex, it's that time. Pick 6 time.
All right, Pick 6, presented by FanDuel, the presenting sponsor of our podcast. Will turned it around last week, moved to 13-11 on the year with a 5-1 weekend.
We're 500, baby. Let's go.
That was a 5-1 weekend. I also had a good weekend. I went 4-2, but I'm 11-13. So I got to make up some more ground this week. Here's the other problem, though. Will puts me in these corners where I got to take crazy picks to try to make up ground, and it never works out for me.
That ain't my fault. That's your fault.
All right, let's start out our first game. Number 8, Florida State. They are a 6.5-point favorite on the road at Virginia.
On a Friday night, too.
Yes.
Shades of 1995.
Yeah, they're wearing the throwback unis. You see that?
Virginia is?
Yeah, they are.
Nice.
Which is just like a regular uniform that they probably should be wearing anyway.
The blue Virginia uniform
just a blue
with the
Virginia.
orange B.
Yes, it's just a blue
swords.
Yeah, it's just a regular Virginia uniform, but that's what they're wearing on
throwback. Oh my gosh,
Friday night. Yeah.
It's like the Steelers wore their throwback jerseys the other day when New England wore theirs.
Does it make you feel old when a team wears a throwback jersey that's from after you were done with college?
It does actually, because 1995 I was done with college.
All right, Florida State 6.5-point favorite. What you got, Will?
6.5-point favorite. Look, Tony Elliott's guys are much improved. They're going to be a better football team. They're going to be a bowl team this year. I have no doubt in my mind on that. However, Florida State they got dudes right now, and they got dudes that are playing well. They're averaging 100 points a game. It seems like
278 points a game or something.
Yeah, they're beating everybody by 60 points every week. They're not going to beat Virginia by 60 points. What was it, 6.5 again?
6.5.
6.5 on the road, 6.5. Yeah, I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go Florida State minus 6.5.
Yeah, me too. Florida State, they might not beat Virginia by 60, but they're definitely beating them by 7. So I'm gonna take Florida State with the points as well. The next one, you got Southern Cal, number 21 in the land, a 6.5-point favorite at number 23 Illinois, who is sore and coming off a butt whooping that they took up in Indiana.
What was that about?
Made me look like a damn fool. That was where Will gained a game on me.
Woo!
Pick 'em.
Man, how good is this Southern Cal team, though? I mean, they got a good quarterback.
That's the question.
They got a good quarterback, and he's slinging the ball everywhere, and it looks like a Lincoln Riley type team, right?
If it looked like a Garrett Riley team, then they would be
losing
1-3.
On the road at Illinois. Illinois, though, is still
physical football team,
and I don't know if Southern Cal is there yet. What's the line on that?
Southern Cal is a 6.5-point road favorite.
Oh my gosh. All day long, give me Illinois plus a 6.5.
Yeah, same. A touchdown dog at home. I got to take the physical football team. I mean, because here's the thing. Illinois, they got their butt kicked last week. They had the worst day ever. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. And, it looked like a a bad basketball score at the end of the day. But I think they regroup, and I think they can kind of take the air out of the ball.
Alex, why is everybody high on Southern Cal? They beat Missouri State 73-13. They beat Georgia Southern 59-20. They beat Purdue 33-17 on the road. And then they beat Michigan State 45-31. They've played nobody.
Yep.
I mean, so why all of a sudden is like Illinois has at least played some teams?
Yeah.
They've
played some football teams. They played Duke, and they played all the basketball schools that are decent at football now. So ACC Big Ten in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. I mean, they took it to Duke. So let's call it what it is.
Had a couple 3-pointers late.
Yeah, those late threes they really pulled away in the end of the second half. All right, next game, and Luke LeBourgeois gets in here earlier in the show, and he said, "Alex, I swear if you don't pick LSU over Ole Miss, we got problems." I don't know why I'm getting singled out. Like, why am I like the LSU hater on the show? Like, I mean, let's call it what it is, Luke. I mean, LSU, they struggled against Clemson, and Clemson's not a very good football team right now. But yeah, LSU at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 1.5-point favorite at Vaught Hemingway. And keep in mind, big storyline here that you need to pay attention to. Lane Kiffin's daughter is now dating Whit Weeks, the linebacker for LSU. So a little bit extra motivation there for Lane Kiffin.
What's the line? 1.5?
1.5.
The home team,
the Rebs,
getting 1.5.
Yeah.
What's the rule, Alex?
You got to take them. You got to take the home team.
Anything that's 2.5, and you're a home underdog, you take it.
Well, they're a home favorite. They're a home favorite.
Oh, they're the home favorite.
Yeah, they are -1.5.
-1.5. I'm still going to take them. Give me Ole Miss -1.5.
Will said, "Rules be damned." I'm taking Ole Miss. Will's taking Ole Miss here. LSU, I'm going to call it what it is. You impressed me week 1 because I thought this was a good Clemson football team.
Alex, what are you talking about? That was a big win. We just won a game, and you're going to go and just start off that way? I mean, I can't believe that's how you start this off. You started off, we won a big game on the road, and this is how you started
I'm giving
off.
it a 65 grade, Will. I mean, Brian Kelly, I need Brian Kelly to regrade now. Now knowing what the curve is, he needs to regrade that game, knowing the team that he beat.
I hope everybody got what I was doing.
Yeah, I think most people did. So here's what I'm going to do. Why do I want to pick LSU in this game? I don't know why I want to pick them. Go with
your gut. I always tell you, go with your gut.
I want to pick LSU. I'm going to pick LSU. And here's why I'm going to pick LSU.
I want to pick, and I'm going to pick.
Hey, I've got two head coaches that I have zero faith in to win this football game. And they're playing each other. And I'm going to give the edge to Garrett Nussmeier. I'm going to say that they figured out a little bit on offense. Their defense is pretty good. I think they'll be able to hold their own against Ole Miss. Taking LSU with the points here.
Okay.
Stupid me. This is my loss this week.
I don't think so. I think that's gonna be a tough one. It's a rivalry game.
These are all tough. These
by the way, let people know, and I'm sure our good friend LSU fan will confirm this. This is the biggest rivalry game LSU has is Ole Miss. It's the biggest rivalry game. I know a lot of people try. Alabama's there, obviously too, but historically, LSU Ole Miss is a big rivalry game, and all you got to do is go back to Billy Cannon and further back than that to know how big this game is between these two schools. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. Next one. All these games are hard this week. This is like another week that we're probably going to go like 1-5 each. Just calling it what it is. Number 12, Alabama. At number 5, Georgia. Georgia is a 2.5-point favorite, and I'm hammering the dogs on this one. I'm taking the dogs.
Georgia's how much favorite?
2.5-point favorite.
Give me the Bulldogs. It's going to look like Georgia's driving down Highway 123 going 97 miles an hour. That's what it's going to look like.
Yep.
Florida State, Wisconsin, Alabama's best win was against Wisconsin, and we see how bad Wisconsin is. Maryland,
and they're chanting
Maryland shut them out last week.
They're chanting Fire Fickle in the stadium.
Yeah.
That's your best win of the year. It's not good.
That's not good. Yeah, so give me Georgia. What was the line plus the what?
Minus the 2.5.
minus a 2.5. Got 2.5. I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's small. It's small.
Yeah.
I think that's free money from Vegas there at Sanford Stadium.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's the next one. This one is in Happy Valley, which is a lot more intimidating than Death Valley these days.
This is a good one.
Number 6, Oregon at number 3, Penn State. The Nittany Lions are a 3.5-point favorite. This is going to be a fun one on Saturday.
I'm watching this one. This is the one I'm sitting down. I got my wings. I got my drinks. I got my remote control. And I'm not putting it on 4 or 5 different games. I'm like, the whole big screen is going to be on this one. This is going to be good. What's the line? I got excited. I didn't even hear the line.
Penn State is a 3.5-point favorite.
Penn State 3.5. And Oregon's beating the slot of everybody.
Yep.
I mean, they're scoring on will. Now, and Penn State ain't played with the poo on anybody. That's why they've fallen in the polls.
Yep.
So,
are you getting James Franklin to win the big game here?
I am not, because James Franklin is going to be James Franklin. Give me Oregon plus the 3.5.
Yeah, I'm taking Oregon too, and here's why: is exactly what we just talked about. James Franklin doesn't win the big game. You know who has his team ready for the big game every single freaking time, whether they win or lose? You know who has them ready? Dan Lanning does. Oregon's going to be ready, and I think they're gonna eat up the environment. They're gonna feast on it, and they're gonna win that game. They're gonna win straight up. But I'm just taking them with the point.
But you're taking. I'm about to say you better clarify.
Not like it matters for our pick 'em anyway. Do I get double points if I take them straight up? Because if I do, then I am.
No, this isn't a super dog pick.
All right. So the final one of this pick 'em,
and it's not Clemson. Okay,
it's
we
not
make
Clemson.
Does Clemson win? Does Clemson cover against open date?
This, yeah, the Clemson is a 4.5-point underdog against open date this week. And they're playing at Daniel High School. So Kentucky and South Carolina. This is the biggest rivalry in the SEC. These two teams get so fired up to play each other every year. You got the blue and the garnet. It's going to be fun. This is what everybody thinks of when you think of SEC football. And South Carolina is a 6.5-point favorite against Kentucky.
Yeah, let me look at this is what everybody gets excited about. You're such a fool of it.
Well, I mean, you're over here.
By the way,
Ole
according
Miss
to
and LSU is still like a big rivalry. It was like 40 years ago, but it's not.
Dude, it still is. You talk to LSU Ole Miss people.
Talk to an Ole Miss person, they'll talk about how big a rivalry it is. But LSU people are
LSU people. No, dude. I was talking to some LSU people recently. So South Carolina, according to ESPN Analytics, is a 57.5-point percentage to win this game.
Let me throw that in the mental calculus here.
Yeah, let's just throw that in there. I'm trying to see because I know what Gamecocks have done in recent weeks. I haven't been following Kentucky as much, other than their lost Ole Miss, which they gave Ole Miss everything they had at home. Probably should have argued they could have won that game.
Yep.
But they've played. Other than that, they had a week off. By the way, it looks like they did. So they got a week off. They played Eastern Michigan, who they beat 48-23. They beat Toledo 24-16 in the opener, and lost Ole Miss in week 2, 30-23. So they played pretty good so far.
Yeah.
South Carolina's at home. North Sellers at home. What's the line?
6.5 for South Carolina. I know. Vegas is trying to trip you up on this one, Will.
I know that 6.5 is because that's telling me, okay, if Kentucky loses by 7, they still don't cover. I'm a genius. You see how I did that?
No, if Kentucky loses by 7, South Carolina covered.
That's what I'm saying. Like if Kentucky just loses by 7, South Carolina covers.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I said. Yeah.
The way you say things is always backwards.
I know. That's how I do things. Man, this is hard, dude. This is a hard one. Because South Carolina, as you mentioned, they play with effort.
Yeah.
It may
so
not
does
be
Kentucky.
The best. So does Kentucky. I agree.
Yeah.
It's at home, though. I'm going to go with the Gamecocks minus 6.5. That's a safe pick. I got to take the safe pick.
And I'm gonna do the safe pick as well. I think it was kind of probably disconcerting if you're a South Carolina fan with the fact that you guys weren't able to run the ball at all against Missouri, but you played with enough intensity on defense, which I didn't think you'd be able to do to stay in the game.
Lenore Sellers.
And Lenore Sellers
ball like
single-handedly
crazy.
kept you in the game. I didn't know that he could
Sling it that way.
Sling it like that, and he did.
He looked like Lamar Jackson throwing the deep ball.
So I think he may have unlocked something. So I'll take South Carolina with the points as well.
Yeah. They're going to be doing some cock-a-doodle-doing on yeah. Anyway.
We've gone off the rails. Once we get close to an hour and a half, it just descends into madness.
It does. Hey, I love all the people. Let's get one more in before we go. Alex, one more comment, and let's see a question. And then we're going to shut it down after that. Let's see. What we got? Give me the best one.
Oh, man.
Got
a lot of stuff about Georgia, a lot of stuff about – man, I had stuff.
Oh, I love it, man. And I appreciate all the comments tonight, guys. I appreciate your participation. You guys were awesome tonight.
One more question. Is it got to be like something fun or what are we doing?
Yeah, man, you're the producer, dude. You pick it out. That's why I pay you the big bucks.
I had all this stuff like saved to go back and pull through. Can you talk about something while I do this, or are you just gonna sit here?
Yeah, I can talk. No, I can talk about. I just like watching you struggle.
Yeah,
that's the fun part. But
somebody tried to type Hunter Renfro and spelled it wrong 3 times and just kept typing it.
I love it.
Typing it again. I've been there. We've all been there.
But hey, real fast, while you're looking at going back through the old media guide this past week, and had to go all the way back to 2004, the last time Clemson lost, 3 games, right? Well, when's the last time Clemson lost 4 straight games? I mean, 1-4 to start the season, Alex. You know that answer? That answer would be?
Tommy West.
No. Tommy Bowden. Same year, 2004. They opened that season, number 15 in the country, and beat Wake Forest 37-30. Then in week 2, wow, okay, we'll be there in a second. And week two, they got beat by Georgia Tech. You might remember this. That's the 24-28 game. That's the Calvin Johnson. Hello, welcome, Pro Football Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson to the world. Game. That's still the craziest game I've ever seen. Clemson had a 10-point lead with 4 minutes to go and a 10-point lead with 2 minutes to go, and still lost the game.
Yep.
I don't know how it happened. It's the craziest thing. The snap goes over his head. Charlie Whitehurst has the first down. All he's got to do is slide 1 more yard further up the field. He slides 1 yard short. Then they can't pick up a first down on 3rd and 1 on back plays. Then they have to punt it, and the ball goes over his head, goes to the 11-yard line. Georgia Tech has the ball at the 11-yard line with 7 seconds to go. Time for 1 play, and they throw it in the end zone to Calvin Johnson, who just mosses Justin Miller for the touchdown. Anyway, so they lost that game. Then they go to Texas A&M the next week, and Tommy Bowden is convinced that they intentionally had the air conditioning because they were an hour and a half apart. They were an hour and a half away from the stadium and had to drive over, which I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, that's a horrible idea. They don't have any hotels in College Station.
I know, right?
Do they stay in Houston? I mean, good Lord.
90 minutes from the thing. And then the air conditioning on the bus didn't work. So, and it was like, this is mid-September in Texas. Yeah. So they got hammered 27-6 that night. Then the next week they go to Tallahassee and get hammered 41-22. Then the next week they stay on the road and they get hammered by Virginia and Heath Miller 30-10. I remember that game like crazy. Heath Miller was just like killing them in that game. He had like 2 touchdown receptions. Heath, and then, great Pittsburgh Steeler there. So anyway, that might be the last time they wore the cross helmet with the blue helmet with the cross Virginia.
Oh, the world's ugliest football helmet.
No, yeah. Do you call that ugly? I think it's pretty cool. The V and the cross thing. You don't like that?
Oh, you're talking about okay. Never mind.
I'm talking about Virginia. Yeah. What are you talking about?
I thought you were talking about that ugly 100 years of Clemson football or whatever.
That was 1996, dude. This is 04. What's wrong with you? Anyway, go ahead. What we got?
All right. Rob Ellen says,
Who is
the next offensive coordinator? And then throws out a former Clemson offensive coordinator, Billy Napier.
So no on Napier. I don't think.
Why not?
I don't know if Rob was being funny or not. I'm thinking he was because that's not going to happen.
I don't think he was because he gets in here too and says Napier would give Dabo 3 assistants that were head coaches.
Yeah. I mean, but there's, I don't know. I mean, Dabo and Napier could have made up just like Dabo and Rump made up. So
yeah, that's true.
I guess that could happen. Guys.
This
aren't
is
like,
actually a good name that
we
like.
don't hold grudges as much.
Willie Corn.
Willie Corn would be. Actually.
And also, let's not throw dirt on a guy's grave.
Hold on, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Right now, last I've checked, Garrett Riley's still the offensive coordinator. Nothing's changed. Dabo was asked about it yesterday, and he says, I don't see anything changing at the moment. That's kind of what he said. I don't know what you mean by that, but that's what he said. And
that's a very political answer,
yes.
in my opinion.
But if you do make a change at the end of the year and you're looking for a new coordinator, I think Willie Corn would be a good one. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
His offenses are always good, and and they do a good job. They score a lot of points, and they're fast, and it takes a lot of pressure. But you know what it also does? It requires the quarterback to be able to read the zone read.
Yeah.
Gonna have to get one. Maybe Willie Corn brings his quarterback with him. If that happens. Maybe that's what. Maybe you
get Willie Corn's
said that
boss.
was Rob. You said that was Rob.
Yeah.
You said maybe Rob knows something. Rob, are you telling us something?
Ben Abercrombie is the one that got
Oh, okay. Ben, maybe you're telling me something, Ben. Maybe it was you. Maybe you're telling us something. Ben's got some insight, maybe. Maybe that's because, it's not a bad idea. I'm just saying.
It's not. I mean, I even like going and getting Willie Corn's boss to come be your offensive coordinator. If you keep him from taking his own coaching job.
Offense, though, I think it's Willie Corn's, though, isn't it?
I don't know. Chadwell's been running this stuff for a while.
But it really didn't take off till Willie Corn became his OC, right?
Well, I mean, he had some good teams. He had good teams everywhere he went. I mean, let's call it what it is. He had good teams at North Greenville. He had good teams at Delta State. He had good teams at Coastal.
Didn't he have Willie Corn at all those places you're mentioning?
Yeah, he did. He had Willie Corn as his quarterback on one of those teams. And he was quarterback for
just saying. So anyway, well, hey, man, it's a great show, Alex. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Appreciate all the comments.
It's a lot to enjoy if you're a Clemson fan. It's really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. No, we're gonna do this again next week. That's the beauty. So we'll do it again next week because we got a game next week to preview and look forward to.
And I'll be there.
And you'll be there. I'll be there. And so it'll
also,
fun.
In closing, I have two things I have to say. Number one, I told my good friend Elijah Johnson that I would apologize to the Tennessee Volunteers for throwing all kinds of shade on them in the offseason. They actually look like a pretty good football team. So that's my formal apology to the University of Tennessee.
Hello,
and then
Elijah, by the way.
Yeah, and then my second thing I want to say, congratulations to Elijah. Just welcomed his little baby girl into the world.
Congratulations, Elijah. How about that,
Called me at 5:30 in the morning, and I definitely did not answer because it was 5:30 in the morning, but got the news after I woke up that his baby girl's here.
That is awesome, man. So happy for him, dude. That is so cool. Can't wait to meet her. Can't wait to meet her someday. So that's awesome, man. Congratulations, Elijah. Appreciate you. And I'm glad Alex went ahead and sucked up to Tennessee. So anyway, so that's going to do it. I can't end it. We got to say something Clemson. I can't end it with Tennessee.
So me and Will, in closing, we're going to sing Rocky Top on the way out.
We're not. We're not either. Clemson, North Carolina next week. Me and Alex will both be in Chapel Hill. We're going to talk about that game.
Maybe we'll give you like a little bit of content for social or something while we're there too.
There we go. Might do that as well.
Might throw our prediction out there or something.
There we go. So for Alex Dodd, I'm Will Vandervort. Appreciate you being on Believe in Clemson, sponsored or presented by FanDuel. We appreciate you. So for Alex, I'm Will. We'll see you next time on Believe in Clemson Football.